Good evening. Welcome to what has been a wonderful, wonderful week to be an Arsenal Football Club supporter. We've possibly seen the best game of football ever at the Emirates Stadium. We go over to Madrid next week, full of hope and even expectation, something that hasn't happened in many, many years. Oh, yeah. And this weekend, we play Brentford. We might talk about that. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
Trevor, I'm still recovering from Tuesday night. It was unreal. And I've got this, I thought it was a head cold or hay fever or whatever. I'm just all bunged up. My eyes are stinging. My nose is running. So if I go on mute every 2 minutes, you know why it is, because I'm like rubbing my arm on my sleeve like a school child.
Do you know what, mate? I've been the same. I've been thick-headed. My head's cleared a bit today, though. But I'm still knackered. Absolutely shattered, mate. So I don't know what's happening with me, whether it can't be a hangover from Tuesday still, but to be honest, I don't care, Ferg. I don't care. What a wonderful evening we had at the Emirates, eh, mate?
Oh, man. Look at that. Look at that scoreboard. Look at that scoreboard. 3-0 to Arsenal. I didn't tell you at the time leading up to it, because you kept on going on about 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. But I genuinely went into that game thinking, it's Real Madrid. You know, we're without key players. We don't have a proper striker. I thought, look, if we go over there, we'll lose 1-0 on the night, and we go back over there and we hopefully get some players back. I didn't think we'd win.
Did you not?
Honestly,
really?
No, I honestly didn't.
Well, do you know what, Ferg, right? For once in my life, I actually did some looking into the background, and I thought to myself, Real Madrid finished 11th in the first round table. They've shipped something like 60 goals this season, Real Madrid, you know. They're not going to win the La Liga. And I looked at it and I thought, we're honestly a better side. I really thought obviously I thought we would win the game. I didn't stop going on about it. Arsenal Football Club, you need to get better Wi-Fi in that stadium or reception in that stadium, because I wanted to cash my bet out at 2-0 up and I couldn't get a signal. No, it was slightly frustrating, but nothing was going to take that smile off my face, Ferg.
No, it was unreal, but it was emotional. Like, you know, Charn, a good friend of the show, he does his lower North back on Instagram, does a lot of work for the club. He caught me standing on a very, very strong seat. So those seats are really, really strong. Honestly, they must be. And he also caught Huz and Dan. Dan emotionally was unreal. There's a few other photos around with me and Dan. After the first goal, we were like, yes. Second, I got a scratch in my nose. There was blood all down my face. The second goal, I got a second scratch in my face. Yeah. And the third one, I just stood at Dan and he looked at me, and our eyes are just bulging, looking at each other going, oh my good God, 3-0.
I know.
Flip
it was surreal. It was just, I don't think anybody could quite believe what was happening. And more importantly, the style in which it happened, Ferg. The style in which it happened. We hardly gave Madrid a kick. We are, you know, in comparison to how we played, it was wonderful football to watch. It was absolutely amazing. We know what happened with Rice, but we mustn't forget Marino. It was a great finish. I just want to shout and scream the roof off still, you know. It's still sending a tingle down my spine, Ferg, you know.
I'll tell you what, you mentioned you get feedback to the club, and I know Dan has reached out to the club about the atmosphere and trying to improve the atmosphere, but that atmosphere in the stadium on Tuesday was unreal. One of the great things they've done was, you talked about the internet, and I'm glad there was no internet. It would have been nice if we could cash out your bet, but they turned off the TVs on the concourse. So they said, and the message was, every fan has their place has their job to do, effectively get in the stadium and get behind the team. The place was rocking 10, 15 minutes beforehand. There was a light show, there was fireworks and smoke. Then there was North London Forever, and then there was the TIFO. And the Ashburton Army done a fantastic job with the Thierry Henry from 2006 big TIFO that went down over the clock end. It was outstanding. And you gave feedback because you got a ticket on transfer or whatever, because I can't remember how you got, why they asked you for feedback, but you gave feedback. Go on.
I think it went out to everybody, that email. Firstly,
I didn't get it.
Didn't you? Arnie,
No.
I'm not worried about being on the internet in this stadium. I'm worried about cashing my bet out when I can win a load of money, mate. I'm with you. Don't worry. Nobody should really be on their phones in the stadium. For me trying to cash a winning bet out, that's an exception. But yeah, I got this email and it just asked me what I thought of the atmosphere, and I highlighted what I thought they'd done well, and I highlighted what they think, what they should continue to do. And it will be at a slight cost to revenue in some areas because they turned the television screens off on the concourse, which meant nobody was down having a beer watching it on the telly, which is how it should be. Yeah, so I sent back my views and hopefully they'll take them on board, because I think we proved with the performance in the stands and with the performance on the pitch, we proved how much of a help a big atmosphere can be to a side. I've got no doubt we lifted that Arsenal team. When they said we did, they said they could hear us before kickoff in the dressing rooms. That came from the players' mouth. And they said they came out to play their best and win the game. And the Arsenal Football Club needs to remember that winning games like that is more valuable than any little bit of revenue they might have lost from not selling quite so much beer at the bars or you know, whatever. I can't get it in my head now. But
I think we get 15 million just to get to the semi-final, so I don't think we could drink that much beer.
There you go. It was just, mate, when the Declan Rice first goal went in, I thought, oh my word, because we're down that end, aren't we? So we watched it, we saw it. I thought, oh my word, what a free kick that is! And the roof came off. And then, of course, 12 minutes later, he scores a slightly better one. And from where I was standing, you could see it had gone right in the top corner. I didn't need to see a replay. I knew that was right in the very, very top corner of the goal. Well, even in the seats, mate, there was limbs everywhere. I was black and blue after.
Yeah.
Black and blue after. I just caught my glasses before they disappeared off. And do you know what? Even at my age, I enjoyed every second, mate.
You know what? The defensive display, you're talking about like the score of the goals. The defensive performance was really, really interesting and really good. Kiwior had a great game again, and he really stepped up to it. But I like the way that we type of changed things up. The way that Lewis Skelly inverted into the midfield alongside Partey, which allowed Moreno to go forward and come back. And he was almost like the connection between the sixes and the eights, and then you had Rice up there. But when Madrid did get the ball, and there was a few occasions in the first half they got the ball, and we weren't hanging on, but you know it was like ebbing and flowing. But when they got the ball, the speed that they can counter attack, oh my good God, how fast!
Oh mate, look, they've got quality players, but I thought our defence stood it well. I'll show you how well we stood up to them. I wasn't worried about them, Ferg. Well, the first minute of the game, Kiwior made a mistake, and they ran across into the middle of the box, into the middle of the field, past Kiwior, but they were closed down. Easy shot for David Raya to save. And then I said to my mate next to me, I said, Kiwior ain't going to make another mistake all night now. Kiwior, I know it. I just felt it in my bones.
He has a ricket in him every game, doesn't he? And he got it out of himself early.
Yeah, he was absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. You know, we shouldn't really pick players out from that performance, but I would go as far as to say, right, that Declan Rice came of age, Ferg. To score goals like that in that atmosphere, under that pressure they must be under, having never scored a free kick in the whole of his first-class career before. To be able to do that twice, he came of age for me. He's getting better and better and better, and we will now see him.
333 professional games, I think he played.
Yeah,
and that was his
336.
338. That
Yeah.
was his 339th. Yeah.
He was just off the scale, mate, Declan Rice. And now he's up there. Now he's up at that level, and he knows what he can do at that level. That's got to fill him with confidence, you know what I mean? He's just going to get better, I think. And then
Listen,
the next one, you've got to give plaudits to Marino, right?
Oh, that's a striker's strike.
You've got to. I mean, when we saw him when he first moved into midfield, up front, excuse me, he scored a couple of goals at Leicester, but we would expect that. But in the games after, I've watched him, and you can watch him slowly learning where he needs to be and where he needs to move himself to. And I thought he was absolutely superb up front and dropping deeper into midfield the other night.
If I was being critical and harsh, and I said it to you, I said if Marino was Havertz or Jesus or somebody like that, given the opportunities that we had in the first half, where Saka put in 2 great crosses, we're 2 goals up in the first half. If Courtois wasn't as good as he was, he made 2 double, triple saves, and then there was Saliba got in the way of one as well. But I'm not taking anything away from Marino. Marino's done great, and you can see how he's learning and his game is improving. His confidence is huge.
You see, Ferg, I disagree with you there, because you mentioned Jesus and Havertz. Neither of them are prolific goal scorers.
No.
Neither of them are prolific goal scorers. They're not a Haaland or a, sorry for saying it, or a Kane. They're not prolific up front players. And I think that, if I'm honest, I think that Marino's probably done as well as either of them would have done in that position. I honestly do, Ferg. You know, yeah, I'm just so proud of the lad for doing what he's done. It makes you emotional, this game, you know, at the moment, the Arsenal. And then, Ferg, we'll just go through, before we do the forecast, I want to go through 2 or 3 more players with you, right? Because it's really interesting, right? Thomas Partey, right?
Outstanding.
Oh, mate, he absolutely pocketed Bellingham. And I love Jude Bellingham. I think he's the future of the England team for years to come. And he's obviously deservedly got a place at Real Madrid. But Partey pocketed him. Partey didn't let him play. And Partey's strange, Partey, because he never looks like he's doing a lot. But he's always there when needed.
Yeah.
Oh, please, Thomas, please don't leave at the end of the season. Please don't leave. I know you're turning 30-odd. Stay another season or 2. Thomas Partey makes the Arsenal a better side, Ferg. I don't know what you think, mate.
I listen. This season is the first season where I've really seen Partey at his finest. I don't think he's had the best seasons between injury and other issues and stuff off the pitch, and just getting a run of games. He's been played in the wrong position, sometimes at that right back position, which hasn't worked for us as well. But of late, Thomas Partey has probably been our most consistent and probably best player on the pitch from most games. But I also think he was helped by the talent and the quality of a young 18-year-old in Miles Lewis-Skelly. Miles Lewis-Skelly, not Megan Mbappe, and and he's gone around people. That this guy is just unreal.
Yeah,
unreal. And to watch him in the flesh, I know people watch him on TV, but if you're lucky enough to get to watch this guy in a game like that we saw on Tuesday night, you are seeing a talent that is going to take. I wish he was Irish. You know that he could play for Ireland then. You know, but he's just going to rip up. He's going to rip up the Premier League. He's going to rip up Europe.
For someone that only made his first team debut, when was it? December, Ferg? Was it
December? Yeah.
It's jaw-droppingly good, and do you know his confidence levels are off the scale, and rightfully so. But to carry those confidence levels into a Real Madrid game. And not as an 18-year-old and not disappear for moments in the game when you're thinking about who you're playing or wondering if you're good enough as an 18-year-old to face arguably the best club side in the world. He just looked better and better as the game went on. Ferg, when he's got the ball at his feet and running, right, and people are trying to tackle him or catch him, they can't get near him. It's like they can't get near him. It's like, when you was a kid, right, and you played football in the playground, there was always one kid that was better at dribbling than most of you, and you just couldn't get the ball off him. The little bugger would just go left, right, round, and he'd carry the ball. That's what Skelly's doing. And these are high-class, top professional players. Can't get the ball off him. It's amazing. I love the kid. I just hope that we're not going to talk about it tonight, Ferg, but I hope the PGMOL officials leave him alone because they're picking on him.
It's interesting you actually mentioned that because I spoke to my brother Rory, and Rory likes to watch the football. He's a closet Gooner, I'm sure he is. He says he supports his local team, but he still's a United fan. And he said he was talking about the game and said how good the performance was and everything else. He was watching from a bar in Switzerland, I think. And he said Lewis Skelly, he's going to be a liability in Madrid. They'll wind him up and he'll react. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that your brother was probably trying to wind you up, Ferg.
You're probably right.
I think he's been really unlucky. He was sent off for a tackle that was never a sending off, and that got rescinded. Other things have happened, and then they've given a penalty against him against Everton. It was never a penalty, a penalty in a million years. And it would appear that he's not let them things affect him. And once again, you have to remind yourself again, he's 18 years old. We're not talking about a mid-20s, late 20s season pro here who's had a bit of a bad run but knows it'll turn around. We're talking about a young lad who's got a mind that can be affected by these things. It can affect his game. And we've got a very special player on our hand because he's just keeping going. And when I saw him at the airport in Eindhoven, when he walked past me, I don't know where it came from. I just said to him, keep doing
what you're doing. Oi, Hilsey, get your tats out.
Yeah, I wish he did, mate. I wish he did. I'd have stripped naked for him. I love him.
Oh, no.
I just said
it
to
was
him,
cold.
Miles, keep doing what you're doing, Miles. And then he was gone. But he smiled, He smiled. And I thought, yeah, maybe he knows what I mean by that. Because he's just sod everyone else. He's amazing. He's amazing. I love him already.
Before we move on, just take a moment. Look at this one more time.
Yeah,
Arsenal 3, Real Madrid 0.
I know. We've got to just. I'm trying not to get too far. Ahead of myself. I've booked trains to Paris for the semi-final, but I'm trying not to get too far ahead of myself. We will be. Take this as I mean it. I think we will be playing against 12 players in the Bernabeu. I think they'll shut the roof and the noise will be incredible. I think that it will be a case of they got to come at us, but that's where I think they might play into our hands. Because as quick as they can move forward, we can do the same. Do you know what? We can do exactly the same. And I tell you what's giving me more confidence every time I've seen him over the last few weeks, right? And I'm going to give him a mention because he's had some stick, but Gabriel Martinelli is back to his best, Ferg.
Yeah, we said that. What was the last home game where he came in with that assist for the goal, and we just saw him, and he was also very, very good away at Everton last weekend as well. So it's good to see him back. Will he stay for another season with us? Because I'm sure there's going to be at least one big name leaving. I know there are names going to be leaving, but I think there will be one big sale in either him or Trossard. I'm hoping it's probably Trossard because I would like Martinelli to have another season at least to try and crack and make it because I think he's a huge talent. We'll see.
I'm hoping you're wrong, mate. I genuinely am. I hope Barry's right. I'm not saying you're wrong. Barry, I hope you're right, mate. I genuinely do. I'm hoping you're wrong, Ferg. I don't think we need to lose anyone. I think we need to gain a couple. Only
I do think. Well, I think we'll go into it probably closer to the end of the season, but I think we probably need 4 or 5 players because you're going to lose Jorginho, you might lose Partey, you're probably going to lose Zinni, you're probably going to lose Tommy Asu. There's going to be plenty of players that are going. Trossard, as Demsek said, has only got a year left in his contract. Tierney's going. So there is going to be a refresh of some players. And Trossard probably will be sold because there was links with Saudi last summer. So I think he probably will be sold. But I hope it's him, not Martinelli, because Martinelli is all cash in the bank, being homegrown, and everything else. So,
Yeah. Do you
we
know
should.
what, mate? Wait, I feel for Kieran Tierney a bit because
I don't.
why? I mean, he's come
What?
on this last few games. He's
He's been
shown
great.
us just what
He's
he can do.
He's another professional. I have no problem with him whatsoever, but he's come and played 26, 27 games each season maximum. And this season, he hasn't even played that many games. He's done the same at Celtic. We took a gamble on him, and he's a great player. I love his attitude. I love the way he goes about playing football. But I don't feel sorry for him. He's got paid well. It's
So
not
you
worked
don't
out.
feel sorry for the fact that he's had some horrendous injuries that you wouldn't wish on anybody.
But he had a injury at Celtic. We shouldn't have signed him in the first place.
Yeah, but you don't feel sorry for him being injured.
Yeah, no, of course I do. But I
Right
don't
then.
feel sorry. He's been paid well, and he's moving for.
That's heartless. That's heartless, son.
He's moving for free. He's going to get a big signing on fee for Celtic, and he's going to be
It doesn't
paid
matter.
well.
I'm not talking about that. That wasn't the point of the subject. If you say you don't feel sorry for a man that's been injured, I'm going to question our friendship, Ferg. That's it. It's all over. I think
It's
we
in
might
question.
be getting
It's in question.
you know,
Man
no,
City.
come on, Timber.
Timber.
The last home game. Who's that against? Newcastle.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope we smash Newcastle in the next week. But that's a long way off. I just hope that Tierney gets a proper good send off. I'm going to wish him well and all the very best.
Listen, I'll wish him well, and I'll give him a good send off. But no, I don't feel sorry for him. He's been unfortunate.
No, you got to feel. I feel sorry for anyone that gets injured. I feel sorry for Martinelli. He's been out injured. I feel sorry for Jesus. All of them that get injured, they don't want to get injured. They all want to play in this side. Trust me. Yes, thank you, Trevor. Thank you, mate. I'm not stirring.
Barry's right. Keep stirring Barry.
I'm not stirring Barry.
Listen. It's a preview show. We're 22 minutes in. I know we had a great night, but we need to look at Man City versus Crystal Palace. Man City will without Ake, Akanji, Haaland, Rodri, and Stones. But Pep has got no concerns. What's your thoughts on this game, the early kickoff? Like if we look at head-to-head, City have already had one defeat in the last 12 games against Crystal Palace, and that was a 2-0 loss at the Etihad in October 2021. What's your thoughts on this one, Trev?
It just says boring to me, really. Boring Man City, who are going to probably negate anything Palace try and do, although they've got injuries. Why do I associate Man City with boring? They've had great players, they've won the league the last 4 years, whatever. But I just feel I get bored when I watch them. But having said that, I think they've just come into a little vein of form, haven't they? Man City. So I think they'll probably be too good for Palace, and I'm going to go 2-1 to Man City.
Okay, only league leaders Liverpool have earned more points in the last 10 top flight games than Crystal Palace. Liverpool have earned 23 points. Palace have won 22 points, winning 7, drawing 1 and losing 2. I think there's going to be a turn up for the books. Liverpool, I was hoping Mo Salah wouldn't sign, but he has, and I think that might turn. I put my decision on the goal was before I heard about that. I've gone Palace. That's Liverpool. So, but I've gone Palace 2, an away win for Palace, 2-1 to Palace.
So we disagree
Again.
That's unusual. We ain't disagree for at least 5 minutes. We'll be interesting. We'll take a bit of time to talk about Liverpool when we look at their game versus West Ham in a few minutes, Ferg, because I think it is worth spending a couple of minutes on them. Just as a little teaser, where I won't say no more, I think they might have dropped a clanger, Liverpool. I honestly think they might have dropped a clanger, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Ferg, Brighton v Leicester. I don't think, I've seen a team as bad as Leicester in the Premier League. Now, they weren't earlier in the season, but I watched them the other night. Oh, my God, they're dire, mate, aren't they?
Yeah, Leicester have lost the last 2 games away to Brighton. Brighton are unbeaten in 5 top flight matches against Leicester. drawing to. They're shocking. They're absolutely shocking. What have I gone for? I've gone for Brighton because Brighton at home are a decent side. I've gone for Brighton 4, Leicester 0.
Have you copied me then?
Nope.
Because, I've gone for Brighton to beat Leicester 4-0, and I honestly think that might be a little bit conservative, Ferg. The way Leicester are playing, they've only got one goal scorer, that's Vardy, and he ain't scoring. So, and their defence, they just seem to have no confidence, right dodgy goalkeeper, and an even dodgier manager. How they got him in I was surprised they got him in the first place with the position they were in. And I'm even more surprised that he's still there now.
I think they got him in because, Steptoe normally goes around with a horse and cart. So all they need to buy the cart because it got horse face in as well. So that's it. It's the whole thing.
Maybe they could do with locking Keown in a room with Van Nistelrooy at Leicester for a couple of hours and let Keown knock some sense into him like he has done before, right?
Yeah.
Leicester, Brighton will hammer Leicester. You can't be sure of anything in this Premier League, but Brighton will hammer Leicester.
Now, an interesting one is going to be Nottingham Forest versus Everton. Forests are assessing the fitness of Chris Wood, who's had a really good season. And Everton, that Lindstrom looks like he's going to be ruled out for the rest of the season. Forest can complete the first league double over Everton since 1995, following a win at 2-0 back in December at Goodison Park. What's your thoughts on this? Forest are really good. Forest look like they're probably going to get Champions League football or near. I said last week, I said they were guaranteed it, but looking at the table, they're not. It's something I picked up on Talk Sport. But they're definitely going to have European football. But what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, do you know, I don't mind. This is going to be a good game of football, I reckon. Is Chris Wood still injured, Ferg, for Forest?
They're saying they're assessing Woods, Awonyi, and Alanga's fitness, all three of them.
See, Moyes has got Everton really organised, and for want of a better phrase, I think they're playing for the badge, and they're playing for the manager, Everton, at the moment. We saw that the other day when we went up there. Although they were so lucky to get a draw, but that wasn't Everton's fault. That was the referee's fault. But I think Everton have been playing quite well, and Forest have lost their striker. I don't know if he's back. Forest have got an FA Cup semi-final to think about. Wouldn't surprise me if Everton don't get something out of this, Ferg. I've written down here a 1-1 draw, Forest-Everton, but I think it'll be a really good game to watch, I reckon.
Yeah, a lot of people have gone 1-1. Everton have won 3 of the last 4 victories away to Forest, only drawing 1. So they have a good track record at the City ground. But I still think that Forest everything seems to just work and tick for Forest at the minute. And I think that Forest win this game a very tight 2-1.
Yeah, I can see that with the home crowd, maybe. Yeah, but I hope Everton get something out of it. They're about safe now, aren't they, in the Premier League? And I want to go to their new ground next season. And actually, if I'm honest, it was a pleasure going to Everton last week, Ferg. I made some real new friends through the Kevin Campbell stuff, and it's such a contrast going to the blue side of Liverpool rather than the red side of Liverpool.
Oh, huge.
It's off the scale, Ferg. I don't know if anybody that's in the chat has been to these away games before. I would imagine.
But you know what? We bumped into some red Scousers in the city centre, and they were fine. I think it's probably a bit like you get City fans, new City fans now, new Chelsea fans that have been over the year, United fans. I think it's these non-resident sort of red Liverpool fans that are the ones that are they're just awful. You can't even have a conversation with them. They're just so blinkered in their view. But the Toffees are their fan base mostly all local, and they're really, really good.
Yeah, it's for me it's really simple to equate the difference. Liverpool fans aren't very nice people, and Everton fans are nice people. It's that simple for me. In my experience, there's good and bad in all, but in my experience, I've never had a bad visit to Everton, and I love going there. So good luck to them for the rest of the season.
Leanne said our first ever trip to Goodison was that Rooney goal when he was about 16, so showing our age. And our Irish Mick says they're supposed to be the family club, Everton in Liverpool. Southampton relegated, the first team to be relegated at the Premier League this season, with 7 games remaining, and also the fastest team to be relegated in Premier League history. They take on Aston Villa at St Mary's. Aston Villa probably have got their eyes on the second leg of PSG. Will they rest players? What's your thoughts on this one?
Well, I think the best news I've heard this week is that Ramsdale might be moving to a Premier League club, because the boy's good enough to be at a Premier League club. I feel for him this season, I really do. As for this game, I think if Villa have got any sense, they'll rest key players, especially in positions where they might be a bit thin on the ground with cover. But I think they could rest half their team, Villa, and still be too good for Southampton, Ferg. I honestly do. Southampton have not turned up all season, have they, really? And I think Villa will win there. I really do. Even if they drop a few players, I think that Villa will win there and win comfortably. I've gone for 2-0, Ferg, to the Villa.
I've gone for 1-0 to the Villa. What was the fact I was going to read? Defeat against PSG was Aston Villa's ended their run of 7 straight victories in all competitions, but I think they'll get back to winning ways. And I've gone for, as I said, 1-0.
Mute. He's gone on mute. Are you alive? Are you alive?
I'm alive. Just.
You've done well, actually. So to get we're 31 and a half minutes in, and that's the first one of the two of us that's coughed. So we've done well, in fairness, mate. So you coughed just as you said your prediction.
1-0.
So we didn't quite get it.
1-0 Villa, mate.
1-0 Villa. So we've both gone for a Villa win. Then the next, there's lots of games that I think are going to be won by a distance this week, and this next one's no different. Chelsea Ipswich. I think Chelsea are just looking a little bit better. Although, sort yourselves out, Chelsea fans. Going on social media and boasting about winning a leg in the Europa Conference League is not big and clever. It's not funny. It's a bit embarrassing for you, really. I mean,
interesting fact. They could be the first team to win. If they win the Europa Conference League, they could be the first team to win the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Think of that. Very interesting facts. But to be honest with you, I'm expecting them to win the Conference League. If Chelsea don't win that Conference League, they should be embarrassed by themselves.
It's only them and Fiorentina who are the bigger teams in there, and Chelsea are way bigger than any of the other clubs that are in there.
Yeah. Anyway, going back to this game, Ferg, I think that Chelsea will be too good for Ipswich. I think that they're going to win 2 or 3, 3-0 to Chelsea, Ferg.
I've gone 2-1. Bear in mind, they really struggled against Brentford. It was a 0-0 draw. It was an awful game last weekend. But yeah, Ipswich, they're nearly down, and we'll be up there next week.
Hey, as it happens, we will.
I'm really looking forward to go to Portman Road. So yeah, we're all the away end is in the upper tier. It's going to be really interesting to see. But yeah, no, I've gone 2-1 Ipswich. So if we look at
lower tier at Ipswich, Ferg, listen,
there is no lower tier. I don't believe.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's a tiny little lower tier. Yeah, okay. And I'm in there, mate. Yeah. I'm just Arnie. Have you been on the wacky backy, mate? Have you been on the wacky backy? Chelsea. If Chelsea lose 2-1, Arnie, I'll sing you a song on here next week, right? I promise you. If Chelsea win 2-1, if Chelsea lose 2-1, I'll sing you a song on here. I'll give you my own rendition of North London Forever, and it's worth listening to that, mate. So yeah,
normal service has resumed. Danny went 2-1 Chelsea. So
that's
evening to John, loving all your photographs all over social media. It's absolutely brilliant.
John. Some of the work this week is some of the best I've seen, right? You even made wonderful mate Fergus look good looking in your picture. Right? I don't know how you've done that, John. I'm a little bit annoyed because I've not appeared now for a few weeks, John. I'm getting a bit of the hump with you, John. But, we can put that right in weeks to come. We can put that right. Welcome to the show, John, and thank you for the pictures, mate. Keep them coming, mate. Please keep them coming.
Liverpool versus West Ham. Alisson has passed the concussion protocols and will be available for the visit of West Ham. Conor Bradley will make his return from injury as West Ham won 3-0 at Anfield in 2015, but that's their only victory in their last 57 games to Liverpool. They've drawn 14 and lost 42, losing in each of the past 9 games. Stick your predictions in the chat.
Well, do you know what, mate? Just sticking on Liverpool for a minute and their announcement today and the announcement that we know is going to come tomorrow, right? I think they've dropped a clanger, Ferg.
Yeah, you were going to say.
Salah hasn't scored for a few games now, right? At this time last season, Salah went right off the boil for the rest of the season, right? And he's in his early 30s now. I think he's on the way out. Van Dijk, who I'm sure they're going to announce tomorrow, is a year older. He's in his early 30s, but a year older. I think they've dropped a clanger signing him up. I think it's probably Arnie Slot showing lack of ambition, Ferg. Or maybe even lack of knowledge. That's a massive statement. But why aren't we hearing rumours of the incumbent champions of the Premier League signing top players? We're not hearing nothing. They're re-signing 30-odd-year-olds. They're standing still. And we know, Ferg, we know that in this Premier League, you can't stand still. You've always got to strive to improve. Now you can get a word in, mate. Sorry, Ferg. Sorry, son.
You know what it reminds me of? Sanchez and Ozil. Remember when the dying days of Wenger? And if we lost Sanchez and Ozil, which both could have walked, we let Sanchez go to Man United, the player we probably should have kept, and Ozil, because he was the more technical and beautiful player on the pitch and would have been more appealing to Wenger's eye. We kept him. We gave him that stupid bumper contract, and we had a similar sort of thing with Oba as Cross Conky. Cross Conky, love the name Cross Conky. Look at that.
That's brilliant. Cross Junkie. That's superb. Yeah, you know what, Ferg? That hits a nail on the head with me when you talk about. You talked about Sanchez and Ozil. Well, I always think Ozil and Aubameyang, they're the two that I was most annoyed with because I knew that they were both fantastic players, Ozil and Aubameyang. They lit the field up when they decided they want to play. But both of them, after they signed their massive contracts, didn't seem like they wanted to kick a ball for us. And I was so disappointed because I knew what they were capable of and what I'd seen them do before, and it wasn't happening. And that's why and I keep going on about it now, Ferg, with what Arteta has done at the Arsenal now. When you and me when me and you walk through them gates and into the Emirates, right, and we go to our seats in the Emirates, these now, drunk as skunks normally, but we know we're going to see 11 players come onto the field for Arsenal and give it their all. Whether we win, whether we lose, or whether we draw, there's always going to be a reason in our head to say, well, we give it everything. We didn't have the run of luck, or we were not quite the best side, or whatever. But we know we're going to see an Arsenal team that puts in an effort, and that's all I've ever asked for, Ferg. All I've ever asked for. I didn't give you a score, did I?
No, you haven't.
No. Do you know what? I think that West Ham are going to get something. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw, Ferg.
Well, you know what? Defeat against Fulham ended, and that was a turn up for the book, and they were lucky to get away with Fulham. Fulham absolutely smashed them. I know it was 3-2, but Fulham really dominated them really well. Ended a 26 game of unbeaten run in the Premier League. I'm with you. I think West Ham aren't great, but I don't think everything is perfect in the in the Liverpool camp. I think players are tired. I think they've been knocked out of the competitions as they have. They lost to Fulham last week, and I'm going West Ham get a point. And I'm gone 2-2, the same as you, mate.
Ferg, I wouldn't expect anything else from you, my son.
Hey, listen, I predicted to lose last week, and they drew, didn't I?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'll let you off then. I'm just reading the comments. Sorry, you do the comments on a Friday night, didn't you? So I actually have to sit here and read them. So yeah, thank you everybody for the comments, by the way. And I'm loving each week when we do this preview show, Ferg, we get more and more people giving their predictions on the games and having their input, because without them people watching that, two of us, we wouldn't have enough input. And just tonight, Cross Jonkies made my night, mate. Cross, keep putting comments down, Cross Jonky, because I love that name. You deserve payment for even thinking about that. Wonderful.
Yeah, some people are very inventive with it. Right, we got Wolves versus that lot. They made hard work of it. I didn't watch it last night, but they made hard work of it. They were against a second string keeper from Frankfurt. We've got Wolverhampton Wanderers playing at 2:00 on Sunday against the scum from the lane. Wolves are undefeated in their top in 4 of the top top flight clashes against Tottenham, winning 3 and drawing 1. The last went on to win 5 meetings without a defeat to Spurs 55 years ago. Spurs have not lost 2 league games visits to Molyneux, and the last time they drew, they lost 3 in a row was 1968.
Look, right. Let me tell you something, Fergus. Right?
Loving it. People are getting it. Look, people are getting it. 6-0 Wolves.
Exactly. But let me tell you something, Fergus. Tottenham are probably the luckiest team in the league this year, because unusually we've got 3 teams adrift at the bottom. I can't remember that ever happening where we know now what 3 teams are going down. There's normally a fight going on for one of the relegation places, if not 2. You know, there's a bit of a battle between half a dozen clubs. And Tottenham Hotspur need to thank their lucky stars that that's not happened this year, because they would be right in a relegation battle now. They've got really lucky that they're not in a battle, because we've got 3 teams that are below the levels required. Having said that, Wolves will beat them 2-0. Easy 2. Maybe more. Tottenham have packed it in. Maybe more. 2-0 though to Wolves.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep this on here. Danny said 6-0 Wolves, and I put it up about 4 or 5 times because I think that's a perfect score. Danny, just stick a quid on it. I've gone 2-0 as well to Wolves. Wolves aren't a bad side, and they have improved. I don't know if Cunha is available, but decent side. Then we got the 4:30 kickoff on Sunday, which is Newcastle. It's United versus United. Newcastle United versus Manchester United. Newcastle have won 3 of the last 4 meetings in all competitions. The Magpies are aiming to complete the first league double over United since 1931. United could lose on 3 consecutive league visits to St James's Park for the first time since 1970. And Newcastle haven't conceded in any of the last 8 victories over United in all competitions. Difficult place to go to, especially on a Sunday afternoon when the sun's going to be out. All those Geordies will have their tats out, just like you, Trev. And United are average at best, and that's been complimentary.
Which one?
Man United, sorry.
I know what you meant.
Yeah, I know you did.
Yeah, look, right. I mean, if Man United have got that goalkeeper in goal, his nerves are going to be on edge, aren't they? Because he had an awful night last night, Onana. And for some reason, I don't know why.
What's his name?
I've got no reason to.
What's his name?
I feel quite... Onana, Andre Onana, isn't it?
What's his name?
I'm not going to keep saying it. Why? What's the matter with you? What are you digging for?
Well, what's his name?
Onana.
What's his name?
Oh, fuck off.
Onana. What's his name? Onana.
I don't know what's funny at that. I'm not getting a joke. Am I missing a joke? Put something in the comments, people, if I'm missing a joke here, because I don't know what's happening. But anyway, that goalkeeper, I feel quite sorry for him, and I don't know why I do. If they play him on There you go. Onana.
It's a song. I'll have to share it with you.
Is it? I wouldn't have a clue. I don't like
I don't,
music
I don't like
unless I'm
music either.
singing it. Unless
Yeah.
I'm singing it. Yeah. I think Newcastle will be too good at home. Too good at home. They'll win at least 2-0. At least 2-0.
I've gone 2-0 Newcastle as well.
Rihanna. I'm going to Google
Rihanna.
that. I'm going to find it now. Here we go. Daniel Gunning. Thank you, Daniel, my son. Over the moon on that comment. Cheers, mate.
Listen, I've got rid of the photograph. I was just going to go back and cry. I've gone 2-0 Newcastle as well. Monday night, then Bournemouth versus Fulham. Now that could be a good Monday night football. Bournemouth are aiming to win 3 consecutive home games against Fulham since 1931. Fulham have just kept 1 clean sheet in the last 12 games against Bournemouth, and Fulham have failed to score in one of the last 8 games against Bournemouth. So I'm expecting some goals in this one, Trev. I don't know which way it can go.
I don't know why, but I'm thinking the opposite, Ferg. I'm thinking that they might. I don't know why. I've not got no statistics. Not seen either of these teams play a lot. I've seen a bit of Fulham, but I think they might. I just got a feeling it's going to be a low-scoring game on a Monday night, and I think one of them's going to win it 1-0. I thought earlier when I was thinking about it, and then I've gone for Bournemouth with the home advantage to win 1-0. But I've got no rhyme or reason as to why I've put that score. None at all.
Barry's gone 2-1 to Bournemouth. The Cherries could have a late run for the Champions League spots. They currently sit in 10th position on 45. So they're 7 points away. So it would be a tough shout. Fulham are closer. They're a point closer. So there's a lot to be fought for. The European football. Trevor Bibbins has gone 2-2. Leanne's gone 2-2. Crosh has gone 3-1, and Danny has gone 2-1 to Fulham. I've gone a Desmond. I've gone 2-2 on this one, Trevor.
Yeah, Ferg. Wait a minute. This is a really good mate of mine. Right? I used to work with him when we were both younger men. He's a good mate of mine. Unfortunately,
so he done all the heavy lifting, did he?
Unfortunately, he's a dirty mank, right? But I'll forgive him for that. But if he's saying that we had a fantastic performance, because that boy Dino don't give it up easily. Cheers, Dino. All the best, mate. I'll get you a beer, mate. Take care. Yeah, so where are we? Oh, what have you gone for, Bournemouth? What?
I've gone for 2-2.
Yeah, I've gone 1-0 to Bournemouth. I think it'll be a low-scoring game and that Bournemouth will nick it. Can we talk about the main team now?
Interesting about this by Rotti. All he wants is Chelsea not to get Champions League football. For me, I'll let Chelsea have Champions League football if Newcastle don't, because if Newcastle don't get Champions League football, that gives us a chance to get in Isak, because Isak will leave if they don't have Champions League football. So if that means that Chelsea get Champions League football, I'm sorry, I disagree with you on that one. The run into the Premier League, you can see on here. Let me get rid of the banner. We know that Liverpool are playing West Ham, and we've done that. But this is the run-in. Arsenal got Brentford. Then next week it's Leicester for away for Liverpool, and then we're away to Ipswich. And it's Spurs at home for Liverpool. We've got Palace at home. That's midweek game. It's been moved. Chelsea away for which will be a tough one for Liverpool. Then we got Bournemouth at home. Then we go to Anfield, and then they go away to Brighton, and our last home game against Newcastle, and we finish off the season away to Southampton, and they're home to Palace. It's going to be a really tough. Listen, it's nigh on impossible to say that we'll win the league, but there are, with some of those fixtures, Trevor, there are some hope. And in this game, the Arsenal versus Brentford game, we really do need to turn up, don't you think?
I'm not so sure, Ferg. I'm not so sure. I've got this thing in my head that says, please don't get us any unlucky injuries for Wednesday. Please don't let us get any injuries for Wednesday. Please let us go to the Bernabeu and put out the best possible 11 we can. So for me, looking at the league, people are going to call me names and that, but I'd put our under-21s out against Brentford. I would. and because I want to win the Champions League, and I want us to go to the Bernabeu and not lose 4-0, and I want us to progress further in the competition, because if we get past Madrid, I actually think it gets a bit easier. Villa or PSG. I hope it's PSG, because we've done them already this season and they'll be worried. But yeah, Ferg, I know I'm a bit of a lightweight for saying that, but I can't get Wednesday out of my head, mate. I'm Brentford.
No, I get
Yeah,
it, mate. I get it. Like as Demsek put in the chat earlier, Arsenal to rest the main players against Brentford. Any result could happen. So you can't really predict what it would be. I'd like to see we've got enough strength. I would like to see probably Wanyeri to start on that on maybe rest Saka, bring Saka on maybe in the last 20 minutes. Start Martinelli or Trossard. You gotta rotate it around a bit, don't you think?
yeah. Anyone that's going to be, I wouldn't start Skelly. I wouldn't start Rice. I probably wouldn't start Partey. I'd put Jorginho and maybe Zinchenko in there. I honestly would, Ferg. I'm getting emotional about it. You know what I'm like? I'm getting emotional thinking about my wonderful football club that I'm lucky enough to support. And I can't get it out of my head that I want us to win the Champions League. And the Premier League, as you just said, is quite probably out of reach.
Mm. Leanne's put this comment on here, still desperately checking ticket exchange, fed up with unsuccessful emails and only 4 games this season. Leanne, you don't even have to have entered into the ballot right now. If you want to get a ticket for the Brentford game tomorrow evening, the ticket exchange is open to all members. So get yourself on there. It's a Cat C game, so tickets start about 30 quid. Get yourself on there and try and get some tickets. I think it's going to be the same for the Palace game midweek on the Wednesday.
Is it C or B, Ferg? Is it C, is it, mate?
It's a C game. It's £30.50. Yeah, so it's cheap ones. And people who are complaining they can't get tickets, this is your opportunity to go there. Get behind the team. Show them how much you think about them and give them a bit of appreciation for Tuesday night.
Yeah. See this, Ferg. Dino again, look. I hope you're right, Dino, son. I hope you're right, mate. I really do hope you're right. I think
you will score over there for sure.
Yeah,
you might lose. Yeah, you might lose, but I can't see them scoring 3. I can see us scoring early 1-0, and their heads will be down. The other thing that really Dino said further up in the chat.
Sorry,
where I said about he was at work and you worked together, and he said he just carried you all the time. I've lost it.
Oh,
but go
on. Yeah, I saw that comment. I just ignored it because he was so lazy, Dino, at work, right? He was so lazy. God, I used to have to run around like a lunatic for him. If he threw one person out of a nightclub, I threw 20. Honestly, that's how it was, mate. He carried me. Now, do you know what he did one night, Ferg? Drifting, right? I've been winding him up one night. We were on the front door of a nightclub. And I'm not saying where he got it from or how he got it. It wasn't Dino's. He wasn't doing anything illegal. But, there's these electronic cow prods they use in Lincolnshire, right? If the cows won't move, they prod them on the arse with about 5,000 volts, right? And it shifts them. And he whacked me on my arse with one of them. And I landed about 10 yards down the road. That's how horrible the man is, Ferg. That's how horrible the man is.
That's really good. He's got no right of reply whatsoever. That's dreadful. I just had seen, just following on from there, there's a few people going on to ticket exchange. Tickets will be sporadic and they mightn't be together. But Leanne, what you could possibly do is get 2 tickets in a similar block and ask somebody if they want to swap or move around. So people are quite accommodating in different areas. And if you're in the lowers, it's normally easier to move around. I'm not saying anything too much more than that, but you might be all right. Let's look at this game then. So Arsenal haven't lost a league game since November the 2nd. However, they dropped points in 3 of the last 5 matches. Brentford have won just 1 of their last 5 matches, drawing 2 and losing 2. So what are you doing lineup wise and score wise then, Trevor? How are you changing? Because people are talking about saying, but Tierney on, but Jorginho on, but Zinchenko on.
Yeah, I'm the same, Ferg. I wouldn't mind seeing Tierney start. I wouldn't mind seeing Zinchenko start. I wouldn't mind seeing Jorginho start. Who else is there? Maybe Ben White could need half a game because he's just coming back, but he's starting to look good again. But yeah, I'll take the rest who you need to, mate. You won't get any grief from me. Any grief from me. I want to see us. I want to see us save for Wednesday. But we can still put out a really good side, Ferg, you know.
Well, Dan says put a similar lineup to Everton because the Everton lineup was quite strong, but it did allow for rotation, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't like agreeing with Dan, but he's right. Yeah, absolutely.
What's your score on this one then, mate?
I'm going to go 1-0 to the Arsenal.
1-0 to the Arsenal. I'm with Danny. I'm gone 2-0 to the Arsenal. Jeff has gone 3-1 to Arsenal. There's been some other scores further up. 2-0 win against Brentford from Irish Mick. And then Trevor Bibbins has gone 2-1. And that's it, really. Yeah. There's a comment there about I think we're stuffed.
That's interesting, you know. Yeah, that's interesting.
Go on. So Crosscon Key thinks I think we're stuffed as centre backs go, but Timber and Ben White can also both play as centre half. So all our fullbacks can play right across the back line, really, can't they, Trev?
Yeah, but I don't want to see it change again, Ferg. We said right at the top of the show, we said about Saliba and Kiwior, and that'll do for me. I don't want to see that change again. I want to see it the same. So, yeah. But you're right, of course. Ben White can play midfield or anywhere across the defence, can't he? Timber is very confident with the ball at his feet. I mean, there was a time at the back end of the Wenger reign that Kieran Tierney got to play centre back.
Well, he's a centre half for Scotland. He plays as a left side of the back three.
Yeah, interesting point. Yeah.
Well, I got 214 people watching across the various platforms. We'd love if you went over to YouTube. Well, to be honest, it doesn't matter, but we'd love if you went over to YouTube and helped us build that community as well. But we're really grateful for everyone for joining us on a Friday night. Trevor, I'm going to press that button unless you want to talk about anything else.
No, just do it. Press the button and we'll say goodnight when it's over. Let's get it on here.
Ooh, I've gone too far. 1 second.
Oh, my Lord. It's made a mess.
Behave yourself. Trevor, you talk about that. I'm just going to... I downloaded a copy of it from the other night. Is that it?
Did you? Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna listen to it twice then, are we, mate?
Yeah, hang on 1 second, because this is unreal. So I just need to send
What are you doing? This isn't good for these people listening, Ferg.
No, I'm just sending it to the podcast group so I can download it.
Okay. Hey, I'll tell you what, Ferg. This podcast next week could be amazing, you know.
What we do Monday night, by the way? You're going to be pissed, aren't you?
No. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh no, we're at the Atletico Madrid game Monday night, but that don't kick off till 9 o'clock there, which is we're an hour behind here, aren't we? So we could probably sort something. We'll sort something off air, mate. We'll sort something off air.
Okay. What's this? This is from Tuesday night. Trevor, I listened to it on my phone this morning. and it just sounded so loud and so like I was back there, but it doesn't come across. The noise in that stadium on Tuesday night was just unreal, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah, the microphones can't capture the noise. They show it for what it is, brilliant, right? But it was something very, very special on Tuesday night. It was, you know, they were all in there early before the game kicks off. The North London Forever was superb. The full ground tifo worked okay, and the most interesting, well, one of the most interesting points is that at the end of the game, 90 minutes, hardly anybody had left the stadium. Hardly anybody had left the stadium on 90 minutes. Which shows how special that that game of football was. People said to me, yeah, but we played Bayern Munich in the quarterfinal last season, and they're a big club, and I had to agree. Absolutely, we played them in the quarterfinal last season. Absolutely, they're a massive club, Bayern Munich. But there's only one Real Madrid. Real Madrid gets you tingling. If you beat Real Madrid, you you're right up there. Although, as I said earlier, Real Madrid haven't had the best of seasons. They're still Real Madrid. They still find a way in the Champions League. Well, I'm afraid on Tuesday they got found out because their team of superstars didn't really get a look in, if we're honest. Take yourself off mute, Fergus.
So I was doing a few other bits and pieces, getting set up for the audio bit. So I'm turning into you, aren't I? Listen, it's Friday evening. I'm going to sit down and watch some TV with the missus. It's been absolutely brilliant to have everybody on here joining us. Thank you very much for all your input as well. As Charon said, it was deafening in the stadium. Trevor said it's the best atmosphere he's ever seen in the stadium.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah. And what has Barry said? Love that when people don't want to leave the ground after the match, no matter what level. It's brilliant. They just want to stay. Being a later night, I needed to get out, but I left at 95, 4 minutes, whatever it was, the top of the stairs. It was just unreal.
As you know, I got my little cheap bed and breakfast at King's Cross, so I stayed there till right afterwards, and the atmosphere after the game didn't seem to die down. Everyone was on a high, and it was a wonderful place to be in that football ground. But now we move on. Tomorrow I'll spend a day with my beautiful wife. Sunday I'll go to the airport. 6 o'clock Monday morning, I get on a flight and go to Madrid. A couple of days in Madrid with great people, and then we'll see us win on Wednesday. And then guess what? We're on our way. We're on our way. We're going to Munich. We're on our way. We get there, I don't know. We get there, I don't care. All I know is we are on our way. Is that all right,
Dan? On our way. Yeah, Dan has been Hillsy. We're going to Madrid, Paris, and Munich. Fine. And Leanne has now got tickets. She's in block 96. Barry has also got tickets as well. So I'm really glad that people who are watching here are actually getting tickets. Well, that's it. We're out of here. Thank you very much, everybody. 220 of you. Thanks very much. Have a great weekend. Up the Arsenal. Enjoy tomorrow. Anybody who's going, I'll be there and I'll be singing loud and proud. Make sure if you're there, be part of it and enjoy Wednesday. Whoever's going over to Madrid, and if not, find a good pub or wherever it is and enjoy it. We're on our way. We're on our way.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.
Trevor, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go on, say what you're going to say. Thank you. Who?
No, just thank you, everyone, once again for joining us. Well over 200 people watching. Humbled again. Thank you, everybody, and thank you to the new viewers we've picked up tonight. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and come back and see us again. Cheers. Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Up the Arsenal. Fuck the Spurs.